Hello everyone, this is Nicole from Altenew. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to layer the images from the Build a Flower Triumph Tulip stem set. This is our January 2020 Build a Flower set. It features two beautiful tulips in 4 and 5 layers, along with some of the leaves that are multi-layers. You can refer to the layering guide, but I'm going to point out which one is which. From the left of the stem set, that's A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. And then the bigger flower is E1, E2, E3, and E4. Moving on to the leaf, that is B1. And then there's a little strike, that is B2. And then that's C1, C2, and C3. Lastly, we have D1 and then D2. So when you refer to the layering guide, you can cross-reference this reference as well. So let's start with A1 in buttercream. It's a solid image, and we're going to start building up on top of this. Please note that I have a camera right in front of my head when I'm filming it, so that I'm going to be a little offset when I am showing the layering, but you can get the concept easily and layer them pretty easy and align them together. So now we are on A2 in warm sunshine. This is just a more solid partial layer image that you can layer the outline and the shape of the images together for the A1 and A2. And for A3, we're going to focus on the bottom of the flower and ink that up with caramel toffee and stamp it. Like I said, I'm a little offset, but you get the concept, and you should be able to line these pretty easily when you're working alone. Now we're going to move on to A4 in paper bag, and this is going to focus on more of the top portion of the flower and the center portion of the flower, and match the bottom when you're done aligning the top and center portion of it. Now we have A5 layer, that is the last part of this flower. We're going to ink that up with the darkest brown, which is dark chocolate. I'm going to focus right on that center portion of the flower where the dark images start, and that's going to be a good indicator. So line that up and also refer to the left portion of the flower and then stamp right on top of our A4 image. And that's the A flower grouping. Let's move on to a set of E. This is the bigger tulip from the set. I'm going to do E1 in buttercream. And we're going to move on to E2, and we're just going to look at the outer shape of this whole solid image to layer the E2 image on top of that. And E2 is going to be stamped in warm sunshine, which is a darker shade of our summer afternoon collection. And that's going to go right on top. I'm trying not to offset it too much, but you get the concept. Now we are going to move on to the third layer, which is E3. For this one, we're going to focus on the center portion right where it's more lighter, and then the left of it. So we are going to ink that up with caramel toffee and line up the center portion and the left portion of the flower and stamp that. And then we will move on to the last image of the flower, which is E4. And we're going to line it right where on the center portion again. And we're going to ink that up with paper bag and tilt the flower stamp image to the left so that it fits the center and the left portion of the flower, and stamp that. And that's how you layer two flowers together. I'll show you how to layer the leaves quickly. We'll start with the B1 in Forest Glades, and we are going to stamp the solid image first. And there's a tiny strike that goes on the bottom right corner of that particular leaf, right where I'm pointing there. We're going to stamp that in Evergreen, and you're going to make sure the thicker portion of that strike image is on the bottom and the thinner is more upwards. So it creates a little folds of the bottom of the leaf. Now I'm stamping C1 in frayed leaf, and then C2 goes on the bottom of the C1 image. I'm going to ink that up in forest glades, stamp it. And then there's also a tiny, tiny, tiny strike that goes on the bottom portion of the C1 and 2 image. So we're going to ink that up with evergreen, and we're going to stamp it on the very bottom. The thicker portion of the image goes on the bottom. Lastly, we have D1 in forest glades. Stamp that onto a cardstock, and then we have D2 that will go on the bottom portion of the leaf. And that one is pretty straightforward. And we'll stamp that with evergreen. And that's how you layer all of the images from the Tulip, the Triumph Tulip Build-A-Flower stamp set. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let us know by emailing us at support@altenew.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.